Hammers up, everyone. Towelliee here with the 10.1 Embers of Neltharion PTR video. Today we're discussing the 3 new affixes that people are losing their minds over. Well, as usual, I will make a video to ease your minds. No crazy clickbait. Are these 3 new affixes the worst affixes of all time? Will this kill WoW? Oh my god. No. We're going to just explain these affixes. I'm going to let you know why, number one, prop paladins are probably going to be the best for all these 3 affixes. And pretty much every other class and spec in the game has definite good counters to them. But you know what, man? I always say it's not Grievous and it's not Quaking, and I hope they end up removing Explosive as well. I won't go over Explosive because it's totally bugged out and totally overpowered and untuned on the PTR right now for testing. But let's go over these 3 affixes. So first we have Entangling. So we're doing Vortex Pinnacle here, which is one of the new Season 2 old school dungeons they brought back. Was a pretty quick dungeon. I mean, this was a 15 with no Fortified or Tyrannical, but at 410 item level scaling. There was some dangerous moments, I will say. The magic damage here and the bolts and the gusting winds were pretty gnarly, but we got through it at 410. I think I'm 420 on live, so I should be okay when this goes live. That being said, let's look at this trash pack here. You're going to see Entanglement go out. So Entanglement's going to root every player in your group. It's very, it's hard to see. That's the biggest complaint we've seen. You're going to see it right there. It's very hard to see. I can see it now that I go back to a video, but if you have a lot of melee and there's all this stuff going on and abilities of bosses, frontals, trash, casting all kinds of different AoE on the ground, it's hard to tell. So as you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, we made a weak aura for it already so that it just yells out, BAM! And I know how to get out of it, or how to know that it's available for me to,
diminish and destroy.
Blessing of Freedom. That's all you need. As a prop pally, Blessing of Freedom, horsed out, but Blessing of Freedom is so overpowered because you do have a talent called Unbound Freedom in the talent tree. In the class tree for Paladin, that will give somebody else freedom and give it to you as well. So here we go. Blessing of Freedom increases movement speed by 30%, and you gain Blessing of Freedom when cast on a friendly target. So in this situation, I chose to always Freedom the Priest because everyone else in the group has a pretty easy way to get out of theirs. As you can see, I'm going to mouse over their name on my Voodoo. I gave them freedom. It gives me freedom. We're both out of Entanglement. I would say a better way to handle this was just make a macro. Before every dungeon starts, just pick a player, talk to your group. Hey, who's going to need my Entanglement the most? Who is very weak against it? Macro them, hit that macro the second Entanglement comes out, and you'll be fine. I think Entanglement is a free week. I can't imagine many specs out there are not going to be able to get out of their Entanglement. Okay, but you are slowed by 50% while you are entangled, so it will take a little bit getting out, but you got your leaps, your shape-shifting, maybe Ghost Wolf, maybe Tiger's Lust. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of ways to get out of Entanglement. Now, Entanglement can be a burden on a week like Spiteful. If Spiteful and Entanglement line up together, that could be a little crazy. I have seen in my testing that Spitefuls and Entanglements can coincide. It did not happen a lot, but it happened enough where I was like, ooh. And then there was also some boss mechanics that I reported where I was like, there's no way people could be entangled right here. The reaction time will get everyone killed. So those are the downsides of Entanglement, are probably not how do we get out of it. Getting out of it is fine. It is more or less along the lines of we have to let Blizzard know in our testing what overlaps are the worst that we need to fix. Because at some point, it's not even really a challenge. It's just going to cause a death. Now, next one is called Afflicted. Afflicted is very easy. You get this ad that spawns. The ad will spawn with all three debuffs or buffs. I don't know, they're debuffs or buffs, whatever. Cursed Spirit, Poison Spirit, Disease Spirit. It doesn't matter. So all you have to do to get rid of the Afflicted Spirit is cleanse it, decurse it, just dispel its disease, poison, or curse, or heal it to full, and you'll be fine. Now, if the cry gets let out, everyone's haste is reduced by 100% for 10 seconds. You can see there's the Afflicted, and I do the simple thing a prop paladin would do is I just Word of Glory the damn thing and top it off because Word of Glory is disgusting and overpowered for this affix. So I believe one of the healers cleanses or the healer cleanses the left one, I want to say, and I just Word of Glory the right one, and it just disappears. That's it. That's all you got to do. So know your group, know the specs and classes in your group. All you got to do is talk, be a little social. You guys don't have to be full blown, chatty Sally or anything, but don't also be too much of an introvert either, man. Speak up a little bit in World of Warcraft to say, hey, what do we have for Afflicted? Are we good? Because you can get 1 or you can get 2 in these trash packs. So just get out there, talk a little, talk to your group. If you know you're a prop paladin, you know what you got to do. Take responsibility. You're always going to probably run cleanse through all of season 2. And Unbound Freedom, you should probably only be running that during Entanglement week. You don't really need it for anything else. I mean, it's good for movement speed for sure. Some people do spec into it full time. I don't, but make sure that you take that that Unbound Freedom, utilize it, talk to your group beforehand. Hey, which one of you guys are the weakest that is gonna need help with the affix? And that's it. Now we have Incorporeal. Incorporeal I don't like. Not because it's hard, but because it's tedious. It's a pretty tedious one to deal with. So Incorporeal basically spawns this ad. It's going to cast destabilizing for 20 fucking seconds. Immediately the first feedback I said was, okay, this thing needs to be literally 10 seconds. 20 seconds is too long. So what you have to do is you have to stun it. And what's cool about this one is that destabilize, and there it is. I'll pause it here so you can see the ad casting destabilize right there with a timer on it. Is that this ad counts as an everything mob type. It's a humanoid, it's a beast, it's an undead, it's a dragonkin, it's a demon, it's an aberration. So hibernate, turn evil, banish. Dude, I can't even remember the last time I used turn evil. Maybe like arenas for like warlock pets and shit and stuff. I don't know. I don't know. But if you're a prop pally, you could definitely help out with Avenger Shield, Rebuke, Hammer of Justice. I did notice that blind didn't work. Maybe I was just bugged for this run. But as you can see here, I'm going to run up to it. I'm going to rebuke it. Then I'm going to HOJ it. Mind you, we're out of combat. And at this point, I'm like, all right, man, is this thing disappearing or what? You can also say that once you've interrupted it, and because it is an 8-second cast, if there's about 6 seconds left and it's casting, like if there's 6 seconds left before it despawns or 7 seconds left, you just run away, it'll disappear, right? So you kind of have to interrupt it for like 12 seconds or so. I don't know if that's good math or bad math, but definitely the first feedback I gave to Blizzard was reduce this to 10 seconds and also make it despawn once you're out of combat. A few things to note: you can outrange it. You can LOS it as well. So really good for Halls of Infusion and Oldemon when those come up and you got to do those dungeons to farm your fucking trinkets. Make sure that if it's an Incorporeal week, you let the group know, or you yourself just LOS it or range it. You're the tank. If you're the tank, lead the troops into victory. But yeah, right now, for those 3 affixes, Prop Paladin looking pretty solid. Other tanks that really counter a lot of these affixes, I would say Bear Tank is up there because they have like their roars and their typhoons and their interrupts and their bashes, and they can also spec into I believe, what is it, Juma Scenarios, I think it is, where you can do the whole either rebirth or something, or not rebirth, god damn it, regrowth, like instant regrowth. They have an instant heal. I did not test if after the wildfire can actually heal the afflicted ads to full. I want to say no, because usually they don't let AoE healing do any of that stuff. I think it has to be direct. But yeah, Entanglement, Unbound Freedom, spec into it. Pick somebody. And if you have a rep paladin and a prop paladin in your group, you basically just have 4 people that will always be freedom for every entanglement. Make a macro. See, we're out of combat and this fucker's there. But as you can see, which I think this is where we test their range on it. Yeah, I think right now we're saying, okay, how many seconds are left on the cast versus, yeah, I think we outranged it. I'm pretty sure. I don't think anyone got hit. For Afflicted, heal it to full with Word of Glory, cleanse it, make sure someone in your group can cleanse, curse, help out with poisons. Any one of those will get rid of it. Very easy. And then Incorporeal, hopefully they make changes to it, but if not, stun it, banish it, hex it. We actually were able to hex the damn thing. And I think shamans have like talents where like hex can sustain like more damage and just like not get broken. Is that right? I don't know much about shamans. Let me see really quick. So there's the Hex that transforms into a frog. While Hex, the victim is incapacitated and cannot attack or cast spells. Damage may cancel the effect. Only works on humanoids or beasts. And then there's Voodoo Mastery, where during the Hex, the target is slowed by 70% and for 6 seconds after the Hex ends. I thought they had a talent where you can just like wail on that fucking thing and you're going to be okay. I don't know. It seemed like we were cleaving it and it wasn't breaking. Like I even hard target Avenger shielded it and it didn't pop up. Bug, maybe? I don't know. Maybe you shamans out there can tell me, you know, what the deal is with that. But that being said, those are the 3 affixes. Nothing to worry about, folks. Very easy ones to handle. Way easier on the healers, easier on DPS and the tanks. You're going to have tanks that can help you out. You're going to have healers that can help you out. You're going to have DPS that can help out. It is not like an emergency kind of affix where you have to like run around really quick, you know, and figure shit out. You can get rid of most of these within the first 2 or 3 seconds of them popping up. I'd say Entanglement is probably the D tier in terms of, I mean, Entanglement depends on whether or not it's going to really fuck up with like Spiteful or another really bad affix, or whether it lines up really bad with bosses. You know what I'm saying? With some boss mechanics. I know that during Underrot, the boss with the mushrooms that he does that big AoE, we all have to dodge a million times or whatever. That one, we had Entanglement during that, and that was dangerous. As you can see here, we're kind of testing out the LOS thing. So we did LOS the ad, and we did not get the debuff. By the way, if Destabilize does go off, I believe it's 50% less healing and damage done to anyone hit by Destabilize, just FYI. But you see there, we LOS'd it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about these affixes. And here is my final conclusion on just the basic mentality of players nowadays. Yes, affixes are bad. People don't like them because they bring a negative to what could possibly be a fun experience. I get that, but that is what Mythic Plus is about. It's about overcoming challenges. It's about hitting buttons that you would normally never hit to overcome a challenge, to then get to the end and get your reward, which is the loot, and then your weekly vault, which is more loot. And then to get Valor, which helps upgrade your loot, which actually in 10.1, there is no more Valor. That's another video that you can watch somebody else for, because I ain't going over all that shit. It's way too much to go over. What I say is this, and I hate to say it, it might anger some people. And yes, you can get 2 that you have to stun, by the way, as you saw right there. I think at the end of the day, the majority of WoW players that just want to get a 15 or 16 done and get their loot, they're probably just lazy and don't want to deal with shit, right? The majority of key runners at like the level of maybe like 8 through 15 and 16, maybe even less than that, they just want to fucking go in there, not have a worry in the world, finish their key and not die and not worry about any affixes and just get in and out. If it was their choice, there would be no affixes. And you know what? I sometimes agree with you. One of my biggest suggestions to Blizzard in the last like year has been, you know what? You should just remove affixes and find a way to make these dungeons scale appropriately, but not out of control to a point where we're doing plus 60s and plus 65s and we have to do keys all day, all week. Let the pushers push, let everybody else get their loot. But I think most players are just, fuck it. They don't care. Blizzard could have announced any 3 affixes and everyone would have still said it's terrible, bad. Because you know what? Because affixes are bad. So that being said, take that with what you will. Enjoy the video. Let me know in the comments what you think about these affixes. How will you and your class and spec counter these 3 affixes? How can you help your group overcome these 3 pretty much free weeks if these affixes pop up? Rest in peace, Volcanic. See y'all later. Peace out.